Yo, what's going on, YouTube? Today we're going to talk about Wuthering Waves and just talk about just a lot of just in that sentence. That's fine. Just talking about how well the game has been received so far. I mean, and for the most part, like there's definitely been a lot of people that have been talking here and there about just like flaws with the game or things that are wrong with the game or you name it. But I would say for the most part, like this game was very well received. And that makes me happy. That makes me enjoy that I chose to pursue this career, if you will, of creating content for a game as wonderful as Wuthering Waves. Um, so yeah, today we're just gonna have a nice conversation and talk about the good, the bad, and precise, and perhaps the ugly. I guess it just kind of depends on how I'm feeling at the moment. Um, let's start with the most easy thing to say that's good, the combat. Um, I've never experienced combat like this before. Like, the closest thing, obviously, was Punishing Gray Raven when it came to a gacha game, and even that combat was... It was kind of weird with how they did, like, their whole combo system and everything like that. I don't know if you ever played the game, but it kind of had, like, very weird, like, match 3 mechanics to, like, get certain attacks down and things like that, which was... it was kind of cool, but it was also just kind of like, why, But other than that, yeah, no, I played a lot of Punishing Gray Raven while waiting for this game to come out and waiting for my chance to actually play, enjoy what everyone else has been talking about and enjoying, and I'm kind of glad I didn't get into the beta. I'm gonna be honest, because if I got into the beta, I would have put so much time into it that when I would have had to start over in the live game, it probably would have made me stop playing for a while. Even by gacha standards, like currently I'm just running around farming echoes and stuff, but the story I would have already played. I wouldn't have wanted to hear again because there still wasn't a way to skip it at the time. There were things like that, and I made sure not to spoil anything for myself, like while other people were playing it. And I'm proud of myself for that because the game, like I said, was worth the wait. Another thing that was really good about the game was, I think, the world. Or that's really good about the game, I think, is the world. One thing that really caught me off guard when I first started playing was there are... This is only one region, essentially, but it's all divided into different quadrants, like elemental quadrants. Not even like where the bosses are and everything, but like there's certain elements. Like there's a spectro area, and there's a havoc area, and there's like a glacial area, and like there's just like all those kind of things, and they all have designs as if they were like regions, but they're not regions. They're just parts of the same region divided into one. Like there's like the grassy area and the fire area and like all that stuff, and it all fits in the game, and it's really, really cool. Also, one thing that could be seen as a negative, but I think is kind of a positive, is the both amazing but simple designs of the characters. Like here's your basic like long-haired dude in armor, and then you got your sexy please step on me kind of girl. Got your cute little girl who does flower stuff and makes you all happy, and then you got the probably the hottest main character that in any gacha game ever. Like, I don't even want to get into it. But, like, and then you also notice the kind of simplicity, because, like, black-haired girl, black-haired girl, black-haired girl, black-haired girl. I mean, there's some uniques, like, there's her, white-haired girl, and then you got guy with gun and glasses, he's kind of interesting, and then girl with gun, and, things like that, and then that was another thing, it's like the weapons. You got guns, which I don't really like that much. You got swords. You got gauntlets, which I thought was a really cool touch in the game, honestly. And then you got these weird idol-looking things. Oh, this one looks cooler. You got weird idol-looking things. You got broadswords. Yeah, it's just really cool. And it's like if you ever played Genshin, it's kind of the same thing. You got to level up the talents. You got an artifact system, which I'll get into a little more detail later. You got copies of your character. Like I'm on the 4th copy of the main character right now because you get it for free because it's a free character. You can't pull for the character. You got specific voice lines and everything like that. It's all kind of the same thing. Like if you played Genshin, you completely understand it. It's got like a battle pass system, obviously. Uh, all right, level 35. Let's go. Another free. Um, but yeah, like it's really, really fun, really good, and it's also, I agree, very simple. But also, while all the characters look simple, they have different attack patterns. Like this is the only character that attacks like this, and he's got a 3-hit E, or I guess main ability, and then you got her who has a whip. Her idol is she has like a whip with like a puppet attached to it, and if you play the story, you'll understand why. Well, her story more so. But then like look at her attack pattern. Look how she like backflips in the middle of her attack.
The stage is yours.
You know, things like that. It's actually really cool. And then she has the exact same weapon, but she attacks like this. She like makes grass come out of, or like plants come out of the ground and stuff, and use it as an attack. It's so cool. It's so unique. Like how all them, it's like it makes the combat look so much more fluent no matter who you're playing, and you're gonna want to play a lot of characters, especially if you want to get like all the content done, especially like the end game and the harder bosses and things like that. And it's super super fun. No echoes? Wow, that's unfortunate. Here's a kind of a medium. I wouldn't call it a bad, I would just kind of call it a medium. The story. I thought the story was okay. I didn't hate the story. I focused as much as I could on said story. But every gacha story I've always done this. I'll play it, put it in the background, and then I'll put on a YouTube video, or I'll play something else, or I'll go do chores, or I'll do whatever it is that I gotta do, and then I'll come back when it's my turn to talk, because for some reason the trope for the main characters always, I forgot who I am, I'm gonna talk for you. Although this one kind of does it a little different, where she doesn't talk, but then in other cases she does talk, like she's her own person. It's very bizarre. I think I kind of get where they were going with it, but it still just kind of confuses me sometimes. I don't know. But yeah, no, the story was okay. For a gacha story, I would probably give it like a 7, maybe. Mainly because it was carried by characters like Scar and that one chick, I forgot her name, and I'm sad for forgetting her name because I want her. I want her more than I want to live. It's hard to explain. I love her. But that's what gacha games do. They like pull to your psyche and be like, oh, I'm gonna make you want this character for whatever reason you might want that character. Whether you think they're hot, or you think they're cool, or you think they're cute. It doesn't matter, because you want them, and they got you on the hook now. And you know what? I think that's fine, because as long as you know you're playing a gacha game, you'll never make any mistakes that you're not already prepared for. They're not lying to you. They're not telling you anything that you want to hear to make you happy. They know it's a gacha game, and they're selling it as a gacha game. They're using the same psychological things that every gacha game will do. And I think that is perfectly fine, because why fix what ain't broken? I mean, look at that. Fantastic. Where was I? Sorry, I got distracted because, goddamn, Ian Lin, you are hot. Anyways, moving on. Story was okay, like I said. The voice acting needs work. I'm sure Kuro's already gotten plenty of notice of that and everything about it, but I want to reiterate as much as possible. The English voice actors, some of them, some of them were absolutely amazing. Like again, that one girl, I can't think of her name, and then Scar especially. Uh, I thought some voice acting was fine, and then you had things like Yang Yang and Shisha and everything like that, where I was just kind of like,
Crush them.
uh,
Leave it to me.
are you sure I'm playing the same game? You know?
Are you alright? Do you feel any discomfort?
You can call me Trisha. And she's Yang Yang.
It was a little weird, but that's fine. Honestly, like I'm sure they're working on it. I'm sure the next time that comes out it'll be better. And if it doesn't, and then we'll keep talking about it. You know, it's all fine and good. It's just kind of the slight thing I wanted to kind of complain about. Another bad is I know it's not optimized properly right now, especially like in the big city and stuff, because yeah, my computer's not the greatest, but I've never had struggle with like gacha games. And honestly, this one takes less requirements than other games that I've played and play flawlessly. So obviously they're going to work on that. They've been compensating us left and right for things that honestly we don't even deserve compensation for, but they're just I think they're trying a little too hard, honestly, in some cases. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the free temples, but honestly, like, just let me give you some money occasionally. Come on, I want to support you. Stop making me do things, or stop giving me everything I ever wanted and not asking for anything in return. Like, you need money too, so you can keep making the game better. I want this game to succeed. And let me be clear, me wanting this game to succeed does not mean I want any other Genshin or well, I just said it. I was gonna say other gotcha game, but I kind of had Genshin on the mind. I don't want Genshin to fail. I don't. I want the people that love Genshin to enjoy Genshin and always, but I want Wuthering Waves to live side by side. Strictly because one, competition is the greatest thing ever when it comes to business. Because it allows the consumer to benefit from both sides for one, but it also it helps. It really does help each corporation because they look at what the other person is doing and they can see what consumers want and they can use that to their advantage. And then people will just constantly keep trying to one up each other and make them better. And I think that is a great motive. I think while they're psychologically trying to get us to get characters because we keep imagining them in our bed or whatever the hell we do with them, like they they need the psychological feedback from us of what they're doing right so they can keep doing it. I think it's fantastic. Now, do I think Genshin is really going to do much more? No, but that's just because I've been with them for like what 3 years, and I don't know. I just feel like they just don't care. Like I feel like the only time they care is when they think they're being threatened, which I don't think is the right way of going about things. But who knows? I could be wrong. I still play Honkai Star Rail. I think that game is great. I think the story was great. I still think it's a gotcha story, obviously, so it's not like the best story ever. But I still think it's great. I still think it has a lot of potential.
It's time.
I'm rambling a little bit, but let's talk about the boss fights, because I already talked about the combat, and I know I said I'd do like the good, the bad, and the ugly, but like honestly, there's not much bad I can say. I'm sure if I think really, really hard about it, I could probably come up with a couple things that I don't like, but they're not even really worth talking about. Because if I haven't talked about them, I'm sure someone else has, and I'm sure Kuro already looks at it and goes, okay, we need to make this better, and we need to compensate them for it as much as possible, you know? Like, so I respect them. I really do. I respected Punishing Grey Raven even though I didn't play it when it first came out, obviously because it wasn't global, but I respect them. I respect everything they're doing, and I know they're going to do amazing things. The fights are really, really fun. Even if some of them are somewhat easy. Like the farming ones that you use for like characters and such, like I need a couple more things for this. Actually, we could go fight one while we fight echoes. Maybe we'll get another echo. Who knows? The boss fights are really cool. They're not exactly hard, not like the hologram fights at least, but they're really, really cool. Like they have their own like unique takes on it, and obviously, you can use those unique takes if you end up getting an echo, which I'll explain a little bit more if you don't know. Everything you get, everything you fight has a chance to become one of these bad boys. And yes, I know they're purple. I'm sorry. I'm just now starting to get golds. They have your stats. They go in 4, 3s, and 1s. There's the debate about the 4-1-1-1 or the 4-3-1-1-1 or the 4-4. Wait. Yeah, it was 4-4-1-1-1 or the 4-3-3-1-1, I think it was. Yeah, 4-3-3-1-1, which I think is okay. I think it kind of depends on the character, to be honest. I'm not going to get into it. But this is where you get your stats. This is where you get your stuff, besides, obviously, your weapons and your talents. Not your talent. Your talents kind of also have a lot to say about it. You know, things like that. I'm strong enough right now to fight it, so I'm not going to worry about wasting my resources. But... Whoa, the lag. Okay. Yeah, see what I mean? Like, the optimization in some cases isn't
Get lost.
exactly the greatest, but...
I'll pay it back tenfold.
Ow.
Back off.
Target confirmed.
It's not hard. Like, when it comes to just the basic farming, it's not hard, and it's not supposed to be hard. Like, I feel like the farming was supposed to be kind of a way for people who enjoyed games about combat and exploration to always be rewarded for it, but not just get everything handed to them. Because the thing about these echoes, which we might as well just segue into echoes at this point, the thing about these echoes that make them so interesting is if I take, let's say this one, it's a 1 cost, and this one could be good. This one actually could be really good for like Yang Yang, for example. It's a 3 cost. So let's upgrade it. So if we upgrade it, it only upgrades these 2 stats. But as you can see, there's tuning all the way to level 25. The max level it can be is 25. So we're going to start very, very slow because I don't have that many resources. And we're just going to put it to 10 because it'll give you a nice example. So we leveled up our arrow damage and we got our flat thing now has to be tuned. This is where things can get a little grindy, which I personally love. We grind these resources with our stamina, and then we tune it, and it gives us the stat and the highest roll. We cannot roll any higher into that damage. And honestly, that's kind of unfortunate. We should probably feed this piece. But the point is, now we know what it is and the highest it can be. So now we immediately can just go, okay, we're going to feed that piece. But what makes it so it's not free, so you don't just get rewarded for, like, you know, running around just killing shit and doing nothing else, is you can't feed the piece unless you actually put resources into it. Which I think is fair. Because it is, at the end of the day, it is a gacha game, and it needs sorry, I'm trying to heal myself before the fight. Whoops. It needs... It needs some way to grind without just being handed to you. Oh, look, another 5-star. Perfect. Let's see if we get ourselves a 5-star boss while we grind some Fertile Chara. So yeah, while we fight this, we'll talk a little bit more about the bad and the ugly, and talk about the future of this game, because I know it has a great future, and I'm super excited to see what that future ends up being. And, but yeah, look at this, like, the combat has, like, its own music, its own its concept styles. Oh, I forgot to mention one more thing about the echoes, which, if you haven't played the game, this is why another reason why I recommend trying it. Whatever you put on your main echo, you can use it in battle. It's another part of your combat. So for right now, I use Verina's, like, she doesn't, it's mainly because she doesn't have a good Spectro Echo right now for healing.
Tear them to pieces.
But like Yin Lin, when I want to use her Echo,
My field of expertise.
it also does electro damage, so it helps her resonance skill and stuff,
Had enough.
which allows her to burst when she needs to. Look sexy while doing it, you know. And then same thing with Kalshara. When it's done like this, I can use literally him to hit him. And then while he's stunned, you just give it your all. And look at that, we got an Echo. Is it a 5-star Echo? It's not. Okay, well, unfortunate. But yeah, no, the bosses are really good and really well done. But when it comes to the grinding of them, they're really easy, which I think is perfectly fine. And even for casuals, like, it could be hard depending on how you play the game, you know? It really just depends on you, and I think that is exactly how games should be.
Tear them to pieces.
I think another thing I want to address is the character, or not the character design, but the enemy design.
Time to waste.
For example, that was a car with legs. Hold on, let me freeze this guy real quick.
Tear them to pieces. Zap strain. It's our curtain call.
There we go.
Exterminate. All is fair in war.
There we go. Awesome. So yeah, the other things I might want to talk about is, first of all, every one of these things and every one of these rewards, Kuro's made it so if you just want the reward, you can skip everything it talks about and just get the rewards. Like, you may have to run to certain places for, like, the companion stories and stuff like that, but, like, if you care about the character, do the companion story and get the stuff. Get the pulls, you know? If you don't,
It's time.
skip it. Skip it and get the pulls anyways, you know? Honestly, the only reason I haven't done these quests is because I've been playing other games. I've been playing, like, Destiny and things like that because they had their expansion and things like that, but I'm huge into Wuthering Waves, and that's kind of where we're going to segue at this point. The only ugly thing I can think about is just, again, just the optimization. That there's really nothing about the game that I can just be like, oh my god, this is such a breaking point for me. You know what I mean? Like, I think this game is everything that I personally want, and I want to introduce it to more people like me and more people that understand what the frustrations of games like Genshin and other gacha games. Because I played so many gacha games. I went down a gacha rabbit hole playing games. Simple games. I played some Raid Shadow Legends. I played Summoner's War. I've never played Arknights, but I played Azure Lane. I played Snowbreak. I played Punishing Gray Raven. I played all these games, and like, they all had pieces of things I really loved, but none of them really meshed in a way like I feel like Wuthering Waves does. And that might change in the future. That very well might. This might not be the game for me in the future, but for right now, I'm going all in. And we'll see what that entails. We'll see if I want to do anything like maybe make some guides, although I feel like guide making for YouTube isn't the greatest right now because there's already so many people doing it, so it's just leeching off of other people's ideas and making them out to be their own. There's websites and stuff to do that. I could just make challenge videos, show off some of my combat skills. Maybe I can make normal guides, like, oh, here's how to get this at the max level, and like, here's the best way to farm this, or I probably won't. I'm not a very informative person. I play for fun, and I like people, or I like to see how people receive that. That's some of my favorite content to absorb, but I don't know. We'll see. All I know is Wuthering Waves is got its hold on me, and I want to experience it with all of you. I love this game. I'm so happy with how it turned out, and I'm so happy that so many people played it, because I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous about it. Not because I thought it was bad, but because I know how gacha games can be received, especially when they don't have the greatest marketing. I did watch the live stream. I was a little nervous about the live stream as well. But no, they delivered. Even with their mediocre story, like just their character design, their combat, the echo farming, everything like that, like if you're like me and you like those things, you will love this game. And I encourage you to give it a try. Even if you weren't a Genshin fan, I encourage you to at the very least give it a try. Because again, you don't need to spend a cent. I have all of this. I had more, but I put it in Yinlin's weapon. But I have all of this, and I haven't spent a penny on this game. Like, I do plan to in the future, but that's just to support Kuro. It's not because I want or need anything. And I encourage you to, like I said, give it a shot. Look at it like through the lens and be like, is this what I want? Is this where I want it to go? And if it is, then beautiful. I want you to experience it, because once you get those awesome drops and you stare at it for like 20 minutes going, and you stare at it for like 20 minutes going, man, if only it was better. Like, I live for those moments. I live for the grind, and I'm here for the long haul. Hope to see you guys there. Goodbye.